A Met police sergeant who faced allegations of breaching professional standards after he was accused of raping 2 women has been found guilty of gross misconduct for his abhorrent behavior, but will not be charged with any crime. Paul Story, who was previously attached to the East Area Command Unit, subjected both women to rape, physical assaults and coercive control between 2013 to 2017, the hearing in London was told. The officer was identified yesterday after an 11-day misconduct hearing after the matters were found proven, police said. The panel found the allegations to be true on the balance of probabilities after seeing photo evidence of injuries and hearing from both victims, fellow officers they spoke to at the time, and Story's neighbors. He resigned from the force in September 2021, but the Met Police Misconduct Panel ruled Story would have been dismissed without notice had he still been. He was given anonymity during the hearing but named after allegations were found proven. In November 2018, Essex Police provided the Crown Prosecution Service (CPS) evidence of the accusations against Story, but a decision not to charge him was made in March 2020. During the hearings, Story denied the women's accounts of what happened and alleged they had conspired against him. The first victim had told the hearing in Fulham, London, "When I first met him I was very young." Sergeant Paul Story resigned from the force in September 2021. Image, My London WS. Suddenly you go from university surrounded by people by and large your own age who had never been employed and in the police, you suddenly meet men who have life experience from the people they've come into contact with. It's impressive. There's that air of authority. I've always been brought up that the police are amazing. She told the hearing that Story began love bombing and gaslighting her immediately, telling her that he loved me, I was amazing, I was beautiful. The woman said Story would constantly call, text, send her love songs that reminded him of her and pictures of love quotes, before later becoming abusive. She added, lots of red flags for me, but at the time I'd never experienced anyone or anything like it. The allegations came to light in 2017 after both the complainants got into contact through a third party to discuss the abuse that they had both experienced. The first victim said, I'd had a number of conversations with various supervisors. I had brought up controlling and coercive and financial abuse before. During a 1-hour-long phone conversation, the 2 women discussed the similarities between the abuse that they suffered. She added, I did do the right thing by allowing the contact to happen. We first spoke about what he told her about me. With anyone had ever been with had always referenced them as a psycho, they're mental. He used to refer to everyone as a C*** and a mental C. She actually did confirm to me that he told her that I was a psycho. He had told her that he had never laid a hand on me but that I had slapped him. The 2 women discussed how Story assaulted them both by grabbing their throats. The other woman told her that she was raped by the sergeant, the hearing was told. She said, I remember saying he also raped me, he forced himself on me. I was so sad to hear the reply. She said, I am so sorry, he did that to me too. That was the worst sentence I've ever heard in my life because I thought it was my fault. I felt like if I'd have been strong enough to report him in the first place then maybe he wouldn't have forced himself on her. I wanted her to know that it wasn't normal and I wanted to make her feel like her life would be okay again. Following that conversation, the woman made official allegations of rape and assault. She said, I was desperate not to make this allegation and the reason I made it was to protect another woman and future women. Andrew Waters, counsel for the appropriate authorities, said there was a degree of similarity between his behavior with both women. Story assaulted the second woman several times including hitting her over the head with a whiskey bottle around New Year's Eve 2014, the hearing was told. Mr. Waters said, his account is that she lunged towards him and he put his hands up instinctively to protect himself and to stop her. He says he doesn't know for sure but he accepts that the bottle of whiskey that was in his hands may have made contact with her but he says categorically he didn't hit her. The officer also assaulted the woman in a car park, the hearing was told. Story was found to be in breach of the standards of professional behavior in relation to discreditable conduct. The panel also found that his actions brought discredit to the police force and/or undermined public confidence in it. Local Area Commander Chief Superintendent Stuart Bell said, "The behavior of former Sergeant Paul Story is abhorrent. He subjected 2 women to a number of sexual and physical assaults as well as coercive and controlling behavior. It is hardly necessary for me to say that his behavior has fallen very far below what we expect of our police officers. This type of abuse has a lasting and significant impact on victims, and we take all allegations extremely seriously. We know it is really shocking to hear a police officer is capable of carrying out such behavior. As part of work to rebuild the trust Londoners have in us, we have created a new dedicated team focused on investigating allegations of sexual misconduct as well as domestic abuse involving our officers and staff. This team improves our ability to identify patterns of concerning behavior. While we're working really hard on this, it will be of little consolation to the women former Sergeant Story abused, and our thoughts are with them." A CPS spokeswoman said of the decision not to charge Story, following a decision by the CPS that our legal test was not met to charge the suspect with rapier assault, the 2 complainants each requested a review. This was carried out under our Victims' Rights to Review scheme by a prosecutor with no previous involvement in the case, and the original decision was. We explained our reasoning in detail to the complainants and that our role is to make independent and fair decisions based on the evidence.